it's working. Fifth time's the charm. Isn't that what they say? Anyway, yeah. Hi, I'm Ashley, and hopefully you guys are watching live or the replay, since I forgot to promote this live video. Oops. So I will be coming to you live on Tuesdays every week for video trainings or information on specific G&M topics that you guys want, but for the first few weeks I'm going to go over the biological laws of German New Medicine. So today is the first biological law, and I'm so excited to share with you about what that entails and how it can help you heal your body. So let me just adjust my tripod a little bit. It's quite bright, as you can see, so I might have to put my sunglasses on. Oh, there I am. So the first biological law is called the Iron Rule of Cancer, and Dr. Hammer, who discovered German New Medicine, named it so because he was studying cancer patients, and so even though this law applies to all the programs and all of the diseases and symptoms, it is called the Iron Rule of Cancer because he studied cancer first. And so yeah, we'll dig in. So the first biological law entails that the conflict shock, or the shocking event, which could be a death, which could be a separation from a partner or a family member. It could also be as subtle as a comment someone says to you or behind your back that you hear about yourself. Divorce, any of the, anything shocking, a breakup, or even a diagnosis. Can be a diagnosis shock. And I gotta put my sunglasses on. It's really bright and I don't want a squint headache. Anyway, okay, that's better for me. Can't see my eyes now, but it's gonna be okay. So basically every biological program, or I'm just referring to them as programs, start from this shocking event, which, like I said, could be a comment, a death, a breakup, or a diagnosis. It literally could be anything shocking. So anything that is comes off as a surprise, so it's not just normal everyday stress. So last December, I almost got in a car accident. I was like this close to being hit in the driver's side door. I didn't see that there was traffic coming. I was trying to cross an intersection, and in Seattle the cars are double parked on both sides of the street, so it's hard to see sometimes. And I felt my heart racing, and I was just really scared, and it was pretty terrifying. I was trying to drop my friend off after a Christmas party, and a few days later I noticed that I had a sore throat, a cough, and my voice was gone. Like, I couldn't talk. And it was really interesting because as much work as I've done on myself and in knowing German New Medicine and just really focusing on increasing my emotional threshold, there's no way I could have predicted, an almost car accident. There's just no way. So it was really interesting for me to see that the shocking event, so almost getting into a car accident, and then that started the program of the can't swallow conflict and a death fright conflict, which caused me to lose my voice, the sore throat, and the cough, etc. And once I healed it, then I knew exactly where it came from, because I was able to see that specific event that happened in my life. Well, sometimes it's not always that easy, but in that case, for me, it was pretty clear cut. And since I have this German New Medicine knowledge, there we go, it was easy for me to see that cause and effect, but it may be more subtle than that. And I know for myself, at the beginning of learning all this information and really embodying it in my life, it was a little confusing, and it was like, okay, how is this thing in my life correlated to these symptoms? So that's what I want to help you with, and especially in this group, if you have specific things that you want to go over, just let me know in the comments, and I'll probably do some Q&A videos throughout the next few weeks as well. So basically this shocking event, so I'm going to go back over the thing that happened to me, the almost car accident happened. The shocking event happened in my psyche, in my brain, and my organs, which affected my throat. So it happens all at the same time. Boom, 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 instantaneously. And I knew I'd probably caused a conflict shock just because like I could feel the emotional response, my heart beating fast, my breathing increased, and it was just really scary and very shocking, of course. And so I thought that probably it caused a conflict, but I wasn't sure, and you don't know until you have symptoms which program that your psyche basically like assigned meaning to the event or your perspective. So you don't really know, even if you have had a shocking event in your life, what program has been initiated until you have symptoms. So I could have had a plethora of different conflicts initiated from the car accident, but my psyche assigned meaning and told my body and my brain death, fright, conflict. And so then that's the program that started, and that's why I lost my voice, sore throat, cough. And then in your brain, I obviously didn't have a CT scan after I almost got in the car accident, but if I would have, you would have seen a Hammer focus in the exact area that the conflict was initiated from. And so actually when Dr. Hammer was studying the cancer patients, he was able to study their CT scans and able to see exactly what kind of cancer they had, how long they had it, how intense it was, just by looking at the CT scan, which is just like so cool. Yeah, I'm really fascinated with that, especially because as a previous nurse, I used to work in the neurological field, and so I saw CT scans and MRIs and all that kind of stuff like every single day. So it's really cool to see how these tests are actually used to help diagnose a patient and that you can actually see those conflict shocks, and they're determined, like the location is determined in your brain by what program was initiated from the shocking event, and then the size is determined by the intensity of the shock. And so you can have like small ones that are healing, or a bunch of big ones, or you can have multiple going on at the same time in your brain, or just one. And so yeah, it's just like so cool that you can see that on a CT scan, like how intense it is, how long it's been going on, if you've healed it or not. Like you can see all of those different levels on the scans. And again, that's called the Hammer focus. So like I said, your psyche, which is your perceptions, kind of like your mind, how you perceiving life's events and your perspectives on life, and also your emotional threshold. So all of that is your psyche. So that determines in the moment when you have the shocking event what program your body and your brain is going to start. So the psyche, and then the brain. So you can see exactly where in your brain the conflict was started from the shocking event, and then that starts the program, and then that correlates to the organ. So in this case, it was my throat. So all of that gets initiated immediately, subconsciously, just all three organs, or all three things: psyche, brain, organ, boom, 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 started. And so, yeah, and then you can also have localized conflicts. So again, when I worked as a nurse in the neurological field, I had a lot of patients with severe mental issues, and I had a patient that was pretty confused, but we had a good rapport. And so I was actually kneeling next to his bed, trying to talk him into his medication or something, or procedure. Like, he didn't trust a lot of the nurses because they called security like immediately, just because he was pretty intense and was pretty mean a lot of times. So I developed a good rapport with him, and I was like really confident that I could either get him to take his meds or do the test. I don't remember at this point. It was a few years ago. So I was like really close to him, you know, kneeling next to his bed, talking to him calmly, and out of nowhere, he kicks me in the chest, like right, here on my left side, and I fall to the ground. Thankfully didn't hit my head because it's like, you know, concrete floors. And it was pretty traumatic and very shocking, and I ended up, I don't think I have a scar anymore, it's pretty healed, but I ended up having like a huge pimple, like the size of a quarter, like right exactly where he kicked me. And it was really interesting because acne is a feeling soiled or feeling attacked conflict, and so I was literally attacked by someone pushing me or kicking me, and so I ended up with a huge pimple on my chest. And it was kind of crazy because, like, again, back to my example with the almost car accident, and then this example, like, I could really see, like, okay, this thing happened, and then I got this symptom. And so it's just been, like, super fascinating for me to see that. And so, obviously, because he kicked me in that specific area, it was a localized conflict. So you can have, you can also have generalized conflicts. So that will affect both sides of the body and the whole body. And so an example is osteoporosis, which is a self-devaluation conflict, a severe self-devaluation conflict. So that means that a person is devaluing themselves to their core. So it usually happens, well, generalized conflicts usually happen with very young kids or older adults because they're more susceptible to the shocking things, because their emotional thresholds aren't as high, and maybe they're not as aware, especially with kids. And with older adults, you know, there's a lot going on in their lives. Maybe their family members, their friends are, you know, passing away, a lot of life changes. They're not maybe working anymore, retired. And so I actually have a person that I'm close with that has been dealing with osteoporosis for a couple years now. And she is very bent over and has a lot of aches and pains. And she's retired. All of the kids have moved out. And she just probably feels like she doesn't have a role or a place in her life anymore. And so she's devaluing herself as a person and to her core, so then it affects her bone structure and especially the spine. And so her bones are pretty fragile, and she's had to have a couple surgeries and stuff. So that's a generalized conflict. And then the localized conflict it can happen in a specific area of your body, where, my example, you know, I was kicked in the chest. And then going back over the shocking event, so that could literally be anything. And so what I want to do for this group is create a space between, you know, normal everyday things in our life, and then things that come up that we're not expecting and we are not necessarily prepared for. And so I want to help you guys increase your emotional threshold so that little things or even big things, you know, don't affect you as much. And maybe sometimes you do get conflicts and you do have symptoms, but they're not as severe as they could have been without you having this knowledge and this just trust in yourself and your body. Because I mean, I've had symptoms and shocking events and, you know, stuff going on in my body, even knowing this information, but I have this knowledge and this trust that my body knows what it's doing and that I'm okay and my body is for me and not against me. And I just have this freedom from fear, just like the group name, because I'm not afraid, because I know exactly what my body is doing. Maybe I don't know the exact cause yet, and maybe I will not know, but what I want to help do in this group is create, the term is called anti-fragile, so helping you guys increase your emotional threshold just so things don't rock your boat as much, and so that you don't have as many symptoms, and that you can heal the ones that keep coming up for you now. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you guys. You can leave a comment on this video, or also private message me at Alchemy with Ashley. And yeah, I am not sure when my next live is going to be, but I will let you guys know ahead of time so you can join me live, and I will see you soon. Bye!